Produces all the news at 7. Ondo produces best local government chairman in Nigeria. President Buhari backs Naira redesign as beneficial to national economy. And from the foreign scene, Iranian authorities prosecute 1,000 people over anti-government protests. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us on the news at 7 tonight. We begin with security. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti. The federal government has again called on Nigerians to ignore the security threat and travel advisory recently issued by the United States and the United Kingdom, urging them to continue with their daily routines. The assurance on adequate security of lives and property was the outcome of the emergency security meeting summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari to assess the real situation of the threat. While briefing newsmen after the roundtable, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Onyama, emphasized that the threat and advisory were mainly issued to the citizens of the foreign countries that originated them. Mr. Onyama, however, said Nigeria will continue to work closely with foreign partners' mission in the country with a view to protecting all residents. Meanwhile, the National Security Advisor, NSA Babagana Mungono, has assured Nigerians that there is no cause for alarm following recent security advisories by the United States and the United Kingdom. The NSA, who said the situation is under control, described as false and irresponsible the perception of heightened insecurity in Abuja as painted by the UK and the US. Mungono made the disclosure at a briefing after a Security Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House, Abuja. Mungono insisted that alerts were for American and British citizens and that the way it was released complicated the situation. Now, beyond government's efforts, Nigerians must prioritize investment in the education sector, particularly in the area of instituting foundations to support development of facilities and provision of scholarships to students. This formed part of the submission of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, Professor Adeshagun Fatisi, while featuring on Nigerian Union of Journalists OSRC Chapel program, The Circuit. OSRC Zaid Aribisala reports that Professor Fatisi also canvassed stipulation of years of service before medical practitioners can leave Nigeria for abroad. We'll bring you details of that story in the course of the bulletin. President Muhammadu Buhari has departed Abuja for London, the United Kingdom, for a routine medical checkup. This comes shortly after he presided over an emergency meeting with security chiefs at the State House, Abuja. According to a tweet by the President's Special Advisor, Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, Buhari is expected back in the country in the second week of November. Today's trip will be one of several medical trips the President has embarked on since assuming office in 2015, spending at least 212 days abroad. Still on health stories, the Nigeria Medical Association NMA National Committee on Epidemics and Pandemics Awareness has called on governments at all levels to put measures in place to prevent the impending outbreak of epidemics in the aftermath of devastating flooding across the nation. In a statement made available to journalists by the chairman, Dr. Abubakar Hassan, and the secretary, Dr. Eneja Joseph, in Lokoja, the NMA National Committee on Epidemics and Pandemics Awareness called on government to provide potable water to the affected communities, as the bodies of water in these areas were heavily polluted and unfit for consumption. The body of medical professionals insisted that the provision of water purifiers, as announced by the federal government, is a step in the right direction and should be extended to all the affected communities. According to the NMA, another measure that should be taken is the provision of habitable settlements with insecticide-treated bed nets for displaced citizens. In the meantime, the National Emergency Management Agency has donated relief materials to flood victims and vulnerable persons in Edo State. Presenting the items on behalf of the NEMA Director General, Mustafa Ahmed, the Director of Planning, Research and Forecasting, Hajia Kasim, said the items were meant to cushion the effect of the flood on residents of the affected areas. The NEMA boss said the donated items are in two categories. While the first set is for the vulnerable as approved by the President, the second category is for those affected by flood in 3 local government areas in the state. Ahmed explained that the items for flood victims included rice, beans, maize, salt, vegetable oil, seasoning cubes, and lots more. You're watching the news at 7 on OSRC television. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll serve you more stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for rejoining us on the news at 7. You can also watch us live on our website, www.osrc.ng, or follow us on Facebook, OSRC TV Ondo. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel, OSRC TV Ondo. Now to the rest of the bulletin. President Muhammadu Buhari says he's fully in support of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN's move to redesign the Naira notes. The CBN had last week said it will redesign the 1,000 Naira, 500 and 200 Naira notes, effective December 15, a development that has elicited mixed reactions in Nigeria. But in a statement by his media aide, Garba Shehu, the president said he is convinced that the nation will gain a lot by doing so. President Buhari said reasons given to him by the CBN convinced him that the economy stands to benefit through reduction in inflation, addressing currency counterfeiting, and the excess cash in circulation. Buhari also said people with illicit money buried under the soil will have a challenge with the new development, but workers, businesses, and legitimate incomes will face no difficulties. Ondo State government says it will continue to partner relevant agencies towards making life more abundant for the citizenry. The chairman of the State Oil Producing Development Commission, Osrc, Mr. Sam Erejua, spoke when he led delegation of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs to some project sites in the riverine communities in the state. Kunle Ario reports.
Management team of Ondo State Oil Producing Area Development Commission, Osrc, and a team from the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs were at the mandate areas of the state to visit some of the Osrc facilities to see how to effectively collaborate. The visit was to enable the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs give some of the facilities facelift, most especially in the areas of health and education. Leader of the team from the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, Joy Badere, said the mission was to collaborate with the Osrc in facilitating more developmental projects to the mandate area.
We are doing some intervention projects in all the 9 Niger Delta states. And for the first time, our minister wrote each governor and asking for what projects they really want us to work on. And then there's a section for specific projects within the coastal region of any state. We are hoping to start this project as soon as possible.
Osrc Chairman Sam Erejua, represented by the Director of Project Planning and Development, Stephen Ogunshemore, thanked the Ministry for its prompt response to the yearnings of the people of Ilaje and Eseodo, most especially Ayetoro community.
We believe we are going to develop Ayetoro as appropriate. Specifically, We were building a school, and we went to the old school, the old location, and the community now said, okay, well, there's need for them to review the new location.
Director Community Welfare of Osrc, Mr. Wale Mafolabomi, and the Special Assistant Political to Osrc Chairman Tony Ajimoda said the visit would go a long way in alleviating the problem of people in the mandate area of the state.
Mandate to collaborate with agencies. That's why we have brought the Minister of Niger Delta area to this place. And as you can see, in the area of health and education, we as a commission are concerned about the welfare of our people.
Our Mr. Atokandu governor, one of his intention is to be sure that the mandate areas got the dividend of democracy during his time. That is why you see him through Osopadek embarking on very many developmental projects that could bring about physical development of the mandate area.
Part of the project visited were General Hospital Ore, Community High School Ore, General Hospital Okitipopa, General Hospital Ibokoda, Basic Health Center Ubonla, among others. Kunle Aruyo, Osrc News.
More women across the 3 senatorial districts of Ondo State are to benefit from the training being championed by the Office of the Wife of Ondo State Governor, Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu. The women, numbering 180, are to be trained in collaboration with Ondo State Ministry of Women Affairs and Foundation for Wives of Ondo State Officials for WOSO. Declaring the event open in Akure, the state capital, Mrs. Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, who was represented by the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Dr. Adebumi Oshadaun, said the gesture was put together to ensure that women also contribute their quota to the development of the nation's economy. Government House correspondent Omoriola Ugbenji has details. We'll bring you that story in the course of the bulletin as well. Chairman of Idore local government area, Prince Kayode Aroloye, has been adjudged the best local government chairman in Nigeria. The award is in recognition of his leadership quality through service delivery and high sense of accountability. The award was bestowed on him at a ceremony in Abuja. The report is presented from our studio.
Maitama Abuja, as local government chairman, far and near gathered to hold the 24th edition of the Merit Awards. The national coordinator, Nigeria Local Government Chairman Merit Award Chief Bayo Deojo, said the event was to look at the scorecards of the local government headsmen and also encourage them to do more. He said the chairman of the local government, Prince Kayode Aroloye, has distinguished himself in the area of performance, hence the award.
This is a period of stock taking on how our leaders have managed the affairs of the people over the years and take informed decisions on the way forward. Let us conduct ourselves responsibly before, during, and after the elections. We must be guided by our commitment to nation building and enduring democracy.
The chairman on the occasion, Otumba Segun Osewe, charged the council bosses to understand the importance of local government as the closest to the people and urged them to always give their best.
Some of the local government chairmen seated here, they will have received over 30 calls in 10 minutes from their people. This is one award I have tremendous respect for.
The chairman of the local government, Prince Kayode Aroloye, was decorated as the best local government chairman in Nigeria for the second time. Prince Aroloye was also among the 3 chairmen presented with khaki as a national winner overall best in security year 2022, while others also went home with other prizes. Aroloye thanked the governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu SAN, his political party, and the people of the local government area for giving him the mandate to serve.
I thank the executive governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Oluwarotimi
Akeredolu for giving the chairman open hand to operate. I appreciate and I thank the organizers, Mentors Communications Limited. My promise to the people of Idore can only be that we work more.
His friends and associates congratulated the chairman on the feat and charged him to do more.
He is actually a performing chairman. He has done so much to touch the lives of people in his constituency. He has done so much to contribute to the development of our state, the Sunshine State.
This is our second time in collecting this award, but obviously this is the biggest and is the best, and I thank God for it.
If you can see throughout his reign as the chairman, he has been a very peaceful man. We enjoy peace.
Highlights of the event was presentation of prizes and conferment of awards to 28 local government chairmen, among others.
We will now return to the story on women empowerment powered by the Ondo State Ministry of Women Affairs and Foundation for Wives of Ondo State Officials for WOSO.
Wife of Ondo State Governor Betsy Akeredolu in 2018 had taken the gesture to all the 18 local government areas of the state, where over 2,000 women were trained in life-changing skills to better their lives. And here is another opportunity for about 180 women in the state who have been chosen to be trained in 7 different skills like general class, household items, beads making, bag, fashion designing, tie and dye, among others. Central Senatorial Districts is currently benefiting as 10 women from the 6 local governments, Akure South, Akure North, Ifedore, Idore, Ondo West, and Ondo East will be trained between 4 to 5 week period. Declaring the event open, wife of Ondo State Governor Betsy Akeredolu, represented by Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development Adebumi Oshadaun, frowned at the current economic status of the country, saying women are needed to be empowered to rescue the situation.
In a situation where a woman is empowered in the home, she will be able to take care of herself, take care of the children, take care of the husband. Where the husband and the children are happy in the house, there is no stress. Do you agree with me? Can we appreciate our doing the work?
Coordinator of the program, who is also the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Gender, Research and Documentation, Mrs. Timitope Daniel reeled out the benefits of the program, saying that aside the startup kits expected to be given after the training, stipend will be given per week and daily lunch would also be made available for the smooth running of the exercise.
Arabia has given you a platform to make it in life. I want you to run with this, your initiative. That even after the training, you have your certificate. So that anywhere you go, you will be able to practice with your certificate. You will know that you are certified.
Other dignitaries at the event added their voices, urging participants to utilize the opportunities for the good of the state.
The future belongs to those who are skilled. And all you need to do is to be determined within yourself that this opportunity given me will not slip by. If you look around today in Nigeria, you won't be able to get a white-collar job so easily like that. So when you learn the vocation, traveling, soul making, this and that, you will be able to support yourself. You will be able to raise up your head anywhere you are and talk about yourself that, yes, the Lord has really blessed me.
Some of the participants who said they were elated at the opportunity also promised to make the governor's wife proud.
I want to learn a fashion designer. It has been hungry for the past several years. I should bring it today to me as I don't even know how to appreciate her.
Breast cancer awareness was also given to keep the participants abreast of the need for regular breast examination. Omoriola Mbeji, Osrc News.
The Joint Drivers Welfare Association of Nigeria has commenced a 7-day strike in Lagos State today after failing to reach an agreement with the state government. The group had earlier, in a statement by its lawyer, Ayo Ademuluyi, justified the move, saying indiscriminate extortion and violent harassment of its members by the management of parks and garages in the state is unbearable. The commercial drivers alleged that most members lost half of their daily income to ticketing, while those who refused to pay either ended up behind bars or had their vehicles impounded. Many commuters were left stranded across Lagos as the streets were deserted due to the action of the aggrieved motorists. President Muhammadu Buhari has joined world leaders in congratulating Brazil's newly elected president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, on winning a hard-fought, divisive runoff election. Malam Garba Shehu, the president's media aide, in a statement in Abuja, said Buhari congratulated the new leader on staging an astonishing comeback after leaving office and serving a jail term. Buhari said he hoped that Lula as president will further enhance the excellent relationship between Nigeria and Brazil. Now, outside Nigeria, about 1,000 people in Tehran have been charged in connection with the anti-government protests that have engulfed Iran. The city's chief said suspects accused of acts of sabotage, including murdering security guards and arson, will face open mass trials this week. Authorities have not said how many have been arrested nationwide, but rights activists have put the total at 14,000. The announcement came as 2 teenage protesters allegedly killed by security forces were buried in northeast Iran. Now to Ukraine, where the nation has suffered sweeping blackouts and water supply cuts for 80% of Kiev residents after another wave of Russian missile strikes and key infrastructure. The Ukrainian army said more than 50 cruise missiles were launched at targets across the country days after Russia blamed Ukraine for drone attacks on its fleet in the Black Sea. The army said many missiles were shot down by air defenses, but Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said the attacks had caused power cuts in many areas across 7 Ukrainian regions. As several blasts were heard in the capital Kiev, the city's mayor, Vitaly Klitschko, explained that due to the emergency situation, 80% of consumers remain without water supply. Before we go on the news at 7, let's take another look at the major stories. We told you that the chairman of Idanre local government in Ondo State, Prince Kayode Oroloye, has been adjudged the best local government chairman in Nigeria. The award was given in recognition of his diligence and hard work. We also told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has announced his support for the country's apex bank, the CBN, in its bid to redesign the Naira. And from the foreign scene, Iranian authorities have arrested and is set to prosecute over 1,000 residents over anti-government protests. And with that, we conclude the news at 7. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening.